Church, don't let the radicals fool you. Black leaders have always stood on the side of Israel, on the side of Zionism. Which is why they pushed back when the United Nations tried to paint Israel as a racist nation in its 1975 resolution, Zionism is Racism. They raised their voices against the UN and founded Black Americans to Support Israel Committee, whose 200 charter members included Coretta Scott King, Arthur Ashe, Ralph Ellison, and Count Basie. Sadly, it wasn't enough. The UN resolution passed. And in 2001, the UN doubled down. They held a conference in Durban, South Africa, and condemned Israel as an apartheid state. The UN exploited the pain of Black South Africans who experienced real apartheid to condemn the only nation in the Middle East where all have equal rights. And it's not just the Jews who've suffered as a result. The late South African lawyer Olga Mshwe Washington explained the cost of the UN's hypocrisy perfectly when she said, "Africa is now the global eye of the terrorism storm. Slavery is rampant and Nigerian Christians continue to be slaughtered. The attention that should be afforded Africa is focused on demonizing Israel." Her words echo even louder today. I'm Pastor Dumisa.
Kal halayim la Yahweh b'Hashem Yahawashi, Waha, Ruha Kwadash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to our apostles, bishops, elders, and teachers, the men of Great Millstone. To you I say shalom, and double honors because you do rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Amraya. I was watching a video from Elder Apostle Tahar on hate for Christians in Israel increasing, okay? And lo and behold, looking into the matter, it's getting pretty out of hand over there, all right? You have the small hatters, the JOOs, just another variation of Idumea, the so-called self-proclaimed white man that rules in the world today, attacking any and anything opposite of themselves, all right? They do this to people of color that go over there seeking asylum. They mistreat them. They're very racist, all right? And they're mistreating even their own kind, masquerading, because they're all masquerading over there, okay? A bastard is dwelling in Ashdod, all right? The Israelis, the JOOs, they know for a fact they are imposters, or at least the elites do, all right? And the so-called evangelicals, a lot of them are Idumea as well. All right, so they're masquerading over there. But look how they do each other. Look how they do anybody. They're just evil to the core. And this is why my people are destroyed, for their ignorance, for their lack of knowledge. All right, the Heavenly Father warned you of these heathens long ago. All right, because you departed from the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, you have zero understanding of these matters in the last days. All right. Thereby, you go about, as you saw from the first two snippets, proclaiming your love for your enemy. And the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy. Esau, Edom, Idumea is your enemy. Jacob, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. All right. This is Hosea 4:6. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, their ignorance. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject you, that you shall be no priest to me, right? You got these evangelicals arguing on behalf of the JOOs. You are no priest of Yahweh while Yahweh Shai, all right? Seeing you have forgotten the law of the Heavenly Father, he will also forget your children, all right? So 2/3 of the nation of Israel are slaughtered for destruction and destroyed because of their lack of knowledge, because of their ancestors' lack of knowledge and ignorance. Never trust thine enemy, all right? And as far as their behavior, it's like their iron returning to its natural state. They can't help themselves. They have to behave as savages because they, in fact, are the basis of men. Let's see how it's going for Christians in Israel these days. and then we'll come back with some more scriptures. Call it a night.
Christians are under attack in Israel. This comes on the heels of Netanyahu saying Christians are totally and completely protected in Israel, and this is where they're safe. It's the others in the Middle East you have to worry about. Watch this.
Across the Middle East, Christians are persecuted. But there is one country where Christians are not persecuted, where Christians worship freely, where churches are protected, where the Christian community is growing. And that country is the Jewish state of Israel. Israel is the safest place in the Middle East to be a Christian.
Oh, is that right? Well, interestingly, it just so happens that 2 days ago, Washington Post put out this article. As Christians are attacked in Israel, government shows little concern is the title. Their first title for this piece, by the way, was Jewish nationalists are attacking Christians in Israel. Goes on to say in here, Christians today are hit, spit at, beaten. They say across the Holy Land, Christians are being targeted by a tide of hostility and violence, attacks that risk drawing the ire of Christians in the United States, including evangelicals who are traditionally among Israel's most ardent American supporters. In Jerusalem, Christians say they are routinely harassed by ultra-Orthodox Jews and huddle in fear when religious Zionists rampage throughout the old city, destroying property during their processions.
Soldiers are spitting too. The soldier in uniform, and this is, people in uniform spitting on you. What shall I say?
A recent video of a nun attacked in broad daylight has caused widespread shock. Many Christians in Israel say intimidation and spitting have become commonplace. Abbot Nicodemus Schnabel says he faces threats almost daily when he walks through Jerusalem.
It's a young monk. They're really spitting on me in the nighttime, in dark alleys without eyewitnesses, because they know if I attack the monk, it's not accepted. Now it's during daylight, people around, and they don't care.
Israeli organizations report a sharp rise in violent attacks on Christians. At the same time, initiatives promoting interfaith dialogue are coming under increased pressure.
The vast majority of Israelis think it's a very severe incident and these people have to be punished severely. But I think there's no enough condemning from the authorities, from the government, from the politician. The opposite, they're kind of inflaming and inciting the atmosphere.
Critics say that Prime Minister Netanyahu's far-right coalition partners in particular are fueling the tension. Ultra-nationalist politician Itamar Ben-Gvir, currently security minister, has repeatedly downplayed the attacks on Christians and in the past even justified them.
קודם כל יש מנהג יהודי קדום, שכשעוברים ליד מנזר או ליד כומר יורקים. אפשר להסכים או לא להסכים, אבל כאשר יורקים לצד, אני לא חושב שזה מבטא.
As a result, fear is spreading in Jerusalem's Christian quarter. Many residents refuse to speak publicly.
We are afraid because we are alone. We are girls, nobody will help.
There will be more and more problems. No one is trying to solve these problems.
We don't have much hope. Our only hope is our children get better education than what we did so they can find their future somewhere else.
A study by Israel's Rossing Center found more than half of Christians under the age of 45 are considering leaving the country. Abbot Nicodemus hopes that Jerusalem will remain a city for all religions. But for that to happen, he says the world must pay attention.
We know how badly we treated Jews, and also we see the really rising phenomenon of anti-Semitism. But this is not an excuse not to look on the realities here on the ground.
There you have it. All right. So what's happening to Christians over there in the state of Israel is nothing nice. All right. And these are happening to so-called white evangelicals, black, or any other color. All right. Really, anybody that's not Orthodox, JOO, all right, is being tortured and targeted in the state of Israel. All right. And you have these Christians over here in the United States, the black ones. The black church supports this nonsense. All right. This is why the scriptures say, very important, Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, for their ignorance. Because you have rejected knowledge, I will also reject you, that you shall be no priest to me. Right. See, you don't study to show yourself approved. All the warnings are outlined throughout the scriptures. All right. You were told never trust your enemy. All right. Like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Like iron returning back to its natural state, Esau Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, the Idumean, is wicked to his core. He has to behave like a savage. All right. And you are rejecting that knowledge the Heavenly Father gave to you by rejecting his word. Therefore, he's going to reject you. You're not going to be a priest to him. You can set up all these fake 501c3 churches all you want. But the real prophets are out here to set the record straight. A bastard is dwelling in Ashdod, pursuant to Zechariah chapter 9. All right. An imposter, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, are not the biblical Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Scriptures. They're not the Jews. All right. They're not the evangelicals either. They're not the Christians. All of these go back to the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, for the most part. All right. And you were warned, never trust your enemy, because this devil speaks with a forked tongue. You saw it in the video. All right. I played for you. The Benjamin Netanyahu saying it's safe for Christians in Israel. Is it? In the land you've stolen as a bastard dwelling in Ashdod? Is it safe for anyone else but the JOOs? No, it isn't. All right. But you're going to get what's coming to you, because the Heavenly Father knows exactly who you are. He knows you're on stolen land. He knows you're imposters. All right. Esau Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, the biblical nation Idumea, are imposters. They conquer a nation and then they set themselves up in their position. All right. And this is what happened in the land of Israel. All right. They're not supposed to be there. They took that land by the 1948 Balfour Declaration. All right. We're going to end out in Ezekiel chapter 36, and it's going to explain this very well. All right. Ezekiel 36:1. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, the governments of Israel, the 144,000 elect and elect body of the nation of Israel. And say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Right. Because they have taken our land. All right. Posted themselves up as the children of Israel. All right. And the whole time they have nothing but abominations going throughout their blood, throughout their system, throughout their philosophy. Verse 3. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of talkers and are in infamy of the people. Right. We've turned into a byword and a proverb. All right. The children of Israel in these last days are taken as jokes, because our power have forsaken us and the heathens have triumphed over us. But that time is coming to an end very soon. All right. All the lies are being exposed. We know who we are in these last days. We know who the devil is in the last days. And there's no hiding anyone's role any longer. Ezekiel 36:4. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Thus saith Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, and to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. All right, to all the governments around the world. This is what the Lord is about to say. Verse 5. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. And that's exactly what they have done. All right. That's why they're called the 1948ers. They took the Heavenly Father's land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Verse 6, prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say, unto the mountains, unto the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because you have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I have lifted up mine hand. Surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. Right. They are about to bear their shame. All right. Now, the video Elder Apostle Tahar was going into talked about them going to Argentina and other various safe places around the world that they have, because they know that that land over there is going to get bombed to shit. All right. They know America, Babylon the Great, is going to get bombed to shit. So they definitely ain't trying to flee over here. All right. Unless they got mega bunkers and shit. But ultimately, these imposters on all sides of the board that go back to the name Idumea, Esau, Edom, all going to be either destroyed or enslaved when it's all said and done. They will bear their shame. All right. All the lies are going to be overcome with the truth, and the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. Hopefully this has been edifying, but you need to open your eyes, especially if you're still a part of the so-called black church. They're deceiving you. They are no priests of the Heavenly Father. They don't even know what's going on, because they'll stand in allegiance with these devils. But as the scriptures already told you, never trust your enemy. Shalom.